everyone. I'm super excited to have you guys all here with us today for this session, taking TB.
Hi, this is Kevin from Tech Support. It seems like Kate went
That was
offline.
really needed,
Yeah,
and we can all get the results we're working so hard for. I'm joined with my co-chair, James Millar, and we have a really amazing lineup of speakers today to kind of walk you through this course and tell you all about it, so that you can get excited and start using it right away as soon as it's available to you. I want to thank all my panelists for being here today. Timur Abdullayev, Rosemary Mburu, Carolyn Barnwell, Jennifer Woolley. They've all got a lot of great information to tell you about this course so that you can really start using it. So please get excited. I hope you're as excited as I am. And let's get right into these presentations. I think Timur is first. Timur's always got a lot to say and it's always fantastic. So listen up. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, my name is Timur Abdullayev. I'm a human rights lawyer and a community activist from Uzbekistan. The title of my presentation is Why an Online Course on TB Research Literacy for Advocates. But let me start with a question of why TB advocates need to be research literate in the first place. 16 years ago, I was diagnosed HIV positive, which became a turning point in my life. Once I got through the initial shock, I started spending days and nights in Wikipedia reading about HIV, learning about medicine, virology, immunology, microbiology, and other ologies that had been totally new to me. Very quickly, I got engaged in activism, first in my country, then in the region, and then globally. I realized that my own life and the lives of millions of other people living with HIV in the world depended on availability and accessibility of the tools like vaccines, diagnostics, and treatments. I became part of a powerful movement where HIV positive people were working, advocating. Hi, my name is Timur Abdullayev. I'm a human rights lawyer and a community activist from Uzbekistan. The title of my presentation is Why an Online Course on TB Research Literacy for Advocates. But let me start with a question of why TB advocates need to be research literate in the first place. 16 years ago, I was diagnosed HIV positive, which became a turning point in my life. Once I got through the initial shock, I started spending days and nights in Wikipedia reading about HIV, learning about medicine, virology, immunology, microbiology, and other ologies that had been totally new to me. Very quickly, I got engaged in activism, first in my country, then in the region, and then globally. I realized that my own life and the lives of millions of other people living with HIV in the world depended on availability and accessibility of the tools like vaccines, diagnostics, and treatments. I became part of a powerful movement where HIV positive people were working, advocating, and sometimes fighting with pharmaceutical companies to make sure their products are not only available, but also accessible and acceptable for us, the end users. Then I developed TB. I found myself in a completely different world, empty, passive, unfriendly, dominated by the professionals who believed that people with TB have to keep their mouths shut and open it only to take the medication. When I started questioning the status quo and calling for community engagement, they would tell me that in TB there is no and cannot be a community because, unlike HIV, TB is curable. That new reality did not stop me. In fact, it made me furious. I switched my focus from HIV to TB, and soon I discovered that I was not completely alone. I started meeting people who, like myself, were full of anger and passion. With time, we grew in number. till we saw the first misconception defeated. A community of people affected by TB became a reality, and it is now spreading all over the world. But even though there were more of us, we still lacked that professionalism of HIV activists. Our conversations with the industry were and still are largely limited to demands of availability and affordability, without actually going into details as to how this can and should be done. Think about CABs, community advisory boards, groups of community experts that are working on the issues of access. In HIV, CABs exist everywhere at regional and country levels. They work with pharma, with regulators, with the medicines patent pool, and with other stakeholders. In TB, there is only one global TB CAB. The reason for low engagement of people affected by TB in research and development is a generally low level of knowledge among community advocates. And this is the stumbling block that we need to overcome. Now, how do we do it? By encouraging advocates to improve their literacy in TB research, which in turn requires availability and accessibility of community-friendly training programs. And what is the best format for that training today in 2022? Of course, online. Unfortunately, there are not much resources available at the moment for activists. And not all of us have the education necessary to dig into scientific publications and research papers, work with data, and lead evidence-informed advocacy. In fact, it is not only about research and development. Same applies to other aspects of the TB response. The resources available are normally not intended for the community. This was the reason why TB People, the global network of people affected by TB, with the support of the Global Fund, started developing its Teach Me TB e-learning platform. This is the reason why we're trying to populate the platform with courses on a wide range of topics, including the new TB Tools course that Jennifer Woolley will speak about after me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Community Connect session on a new online TB research curriculum that was developed by the Stop TB Partnership New Tools Working Groups. Those are the working groups on new TB vaccines, drugs, and diagnostics, in collaboration with the Stop TB Partnership Community and NGO Delegations. I'm Jennifer Woolley. I'm the Secretariat for the Working Group on New TB Vaccines. Today, I'm going to provide you with a very brief overview of this online TB research curriculum and what learners can expect. The full course consists of 4 modules, a module on the fundamentals of TB research and modules on diagnostics, drugs, and vaccines research and development. Each module contains several video lessons that cover a range of topics, including scientific concepts, issues around access and human rights, and advocacy needs and opportunities for TB research. Each lesson also includes a set of activities to support and enhance your learning. These may be activities at the beginning of a lesson to consider the topics that will be covered and what you'd like to learn about those topics, as well as activities at the end of each lesson to reinforce what you've learned. There will also be resources at the end of each lesson. These might be resources that are referenced throughout the lesson on resources that you'll want to reference regularly to have the most up-to-date information to inform your advocacy, as well as resources that may expand upon topics that are covered in that lesson. At the end of each module, there will be a short quiz where you'll be able to assess what you've learned and also identify topics that you might want to revisit to reinforce your learning. The online curriculum is self-paced. Learners can do it whenever and wherever it is convenient for them. All you need is an internet connection. There are no specific start dates for the course, and there's no specific timeline by which you have to complete the course after starting it. Learners can take as long as they need to complete the course. You can choose which modules you would like to complete, but we strongly recommend that learners take all 4 of the modules, as this is going to provide the most comprehensive overview of TB research and development for new tools. And learners who do complete all 4 modules are eligible for a certificate if they receive a passing score on the comprehensive test. This test includes questions and concepts that are covered in all 4 of the modules. One of the things that was very important to us as we developed this curriculum was that participants or learners would be able to act on what they've learned very quickly after completing the course. So the online curriculum provides learners with a template for developing an advocacy plan. And there are opportunities throughout the course to work on the advocacy plan, so that once the course is completed, you also have a completed advocacy plan and you're able to put what you learned into action very quickly. Learners will also have the opportunity to connect with the working groups, the Stop TB delegations, and other advocates to support each other and collaborate on advocacy opportunities. These connections will also allow you to ask questions or get more information on a topic that might be of specific interest to you, and to stay updated on what's happening in TB research and development in different areas. We will also want to hear from you when you complete the course about your experience. So there will be a brief evaluation at the end of the course so that you can provide feedback to us, and we can use that feedback to help improve the course for future learners. With that, I want to just say again, thank you for your interest in the online TB research curriculum, and we'll look forward to any questions that you have during the discussion. We'll also provide contact information for questions and more information at the end of the session so that you can get in touch with us after the session if you want to learn more about the curriculum. So with that, our thanks again, and we look forward to the discussion after the presentations.
Hi, I'm Carolyn, and I help produce the video content for the TB Research Literacy course. We want learners to understand the fundamentals necessary for engaging in new tools advocacy and have a solid foundation of knowledge without going too deep into the technical details. It was important in the creation of the course that we include a mix of scientific researchers and community members. We recorded remotely online so we could include a broad range of people and perspectives from around the globe. And we're so grateful to everyone who participated. Here's a peek at 3 of the guiding videos.
I'm happy that you decided to take this course. It's a course on how to advocate for new tools for TB. Anyone can be an amazing advocate. You need to share an immense love and empathy for people with TB that we need to help, and you need to know how. And this is what this course is about, learning the how can you become a better advocate. In TB, every single voice is very important, and every single voice needs to do a lot of advocacy because we need to have the new tools, and we need to be able to not only have them, to roll them out and to ensure access to these new tools for everyone that needs them in a way that is equitable and is presented in the same way throughout the entire world.
TB elimination is possible, and I'm so glad that you're here to take this course and join me. To get any job done right, you need the right tools. When it comes to ending TB, our most important tools are diagnostics, medicines, and vaccines. So what can you expect from this course? No matter if you're new to advocacy for TB tools or if you have years of experience, you can expect 4 things from this course. First, you'll strengthen your base of fundamental knowledge needed to advocate successfully for new TB tools. This involves issues related to TB research, plus issues related to access for new TB tools. You'll also gain a deeper understanding of the key resources out there that will help you stay up to date with new developments in TB research and help you stay involved in advocacy, including reports, websites, stakeholders, and other resources. You'll also develop your communication skills, which will help you educate others about the need for new TB tools and deliver clear calls to action. And finally, as you make your way through the course, you're going to be gathering the information and resources you need to develop your own advocacy plan.
During the course, you have been gathering the resources you need to develop your own plan for engaging in advocacy for new TB tools. It is now going to be up to you to take that information and use it to finalize your advocacy plan. Developing new TB tools means saving lives, and this is our main motivation.
As has been mentioned in other presentations, in addition to learning videos, the course will include resources and activities. The types of activities include thinking about a lesson topic before watching the lesson video and writing down questions and things you're most interested in about that topic. For example, have you ever learned about how new tools are developed? What are you most interested in learning about the development of new tools? Watch the video lesson and write down key points from that lesson. For example, learning about and noting down different stages of research. Research a topic using resources provided in the lesson. For example, read information about funding needs and priorities for the development of new tools in the global plan to end TB. And respond to questions about them. Engage in community dialogue on a topic. For example, identifying someone in your community to discuss access challenges for new tools. You will be provided with guidance on completing each of these activities, and they will be valuable to reinforce your learning. As was also mentioned, throughout the course, you will have an opportunity to develop an advocacy plan, which will focus on 5 key areas: determining the objectives you want to achieve with your advocacy, identifying assets that you can use to advocate for new tools, building a timeline of key dates, moments, and events that can be opportunities to achieve your advocacy objectives, deciding what messages you need to communicate in your advocacy and how you will communicate those messages, developing a plan for monitoring and evaluation of your progress in achieving your advocacy objectives. We look forward to sharing the course with you all.
Hello and welcome to yet another presentation. I will be focusing on how to do a laser talk. My name is Rosemary Mboru. I'm the Executive Director for Waki Health, and we are happy to be part of this process. As advocates, one of the things that we utilize to ensure that we can be effective and powerful in our advocacy are a number of tools. And learning how to speak powerfully about our issues is one of the most important tools that we have in our arsenal of tools as advocates. The laser talk is a format that is used to help advocates to do exactly that, to speak powerfully. In my advocacy journey, which has been now 15 years, as an HIV advocate, TB advocate, malaria advocate, I engage in a lot of advocacy within the global health space for financing, for equity, for rights, and so many other things. But I think one of the tools that has really helped me to package my information, to be able to communicate and engage in an effective way is this laser talk. It is a format that I learned from an organization called Results. Results, is an organization based in the US that created this format for their grassroots advocates or their grassroots volunteers in order to create power, to create impact, to create strong voices. The laser talk involves short and compelling talks that are the backbone of their advocacy work. And this is the tool that I'm going to be talking about in this presentation. The benefit of this approach, or the benefit of a laser talk, is that you can present a compelling case, and in fact, present a compelling case in under 2 minutes. Sometimes all you have is 1 minute actually. And the laser talk helps you to organize your thinking process. It helps you to organize your key points. It makes sure that that chance encounter with a decision maker, with a policy maker, with an influencer is not wasted, and that you can pull this tool, communicate powerfully, and give that person something to think about long after you have parted ways. I've already touched on this. When do we use laser talks? They can be used in so many settings and for so many reasons. I think the bottom line is to know that whenever you want to express your advocacy ask, whenever you want to impress on a decision maker what the issue is and what you want them to do, the laser talk comes in handy. You could use it during chance encounters with decision makers at any level. In Kenya, for example, where I come from, we work with a decentralized structure of government. So we have counties and we have the national government. Whichever level of decision makers, whether it's at county level, whether it's at the national level, when you meet them at the market, at the elevator, at the gas station, at the hospital, at the roadside, as an advocate, you can use this during those chance encounters with those decision makers. You can use it also during phone calls with members of parliament. In our parliaments, we see a lot of health-related bills or, decision making that's touch on tuberculosis, on HIV, on malaria. And as TB advocates, if we were to initiate a process or to support a parliamentary process where we are looking at members of parliament or our representatives to make decisions and to lean towards a particular side of the decision, we would need to mobilize members of parliament. And I think within the TB advocacy space, we are fortunate because we have the parliamentary caucus on TB. And we have members of the TB caucus in most of our countries. So if you are to engage your member of parliament about a particular issue, how do you make sure that this person who is so busy and also being sought after by many, many, many other people, but also for many, many other issues, these are the people we go to when we want a road constructed in our village. These are the people we go to equip schools. These are the people we go to for XYZ. Now, for them to prioritize your TB agenda or your health-related agenda, and you're making a phone call, how do you stand out? How do you make your issue memorable? How do you make sure that you actually capture their attention? So the laser talk also comes in there. In meetings with newspaper editorial boards, you call the national media house or whoever the newspaper you work with is leading the newspaper that you work with. So basically we are saying that you want something published. How do you, package that story? How do you package what you want to say in order to appeal to the newspaper editors, in order for them to feature your story? The laser talk comes in handy. So moving on to the next slide, I would like to quickly go through the basics of creating a laser talk. There is a simple acronym, we call it EPIC, that helps us remember the basics of how you create a laser talk. EPIC. The letters EPIC stand for, E is for engage your audience. P is for present, or basically state the problem. So you've engaged your audience. Once you capture their attention, then state the problem. What is the problem? Once you state your problem, then inform them about the solution, and then call to action. This format is very important and effective because you have to first capture them, tell them something, that gets you their attention. And then you state the problem. Now that they are paying attention to you, they are listening to you. What is the problem? So state something that makes them see that the issue you're presenting is important because it's causing a particular problem. Most decision makers really are unsettled when they hear their constituencies are struggling with a particular issue. So engage them, capture their attention, then state the problem. And then it's important as advocates, as we know, to make sure that you have possible solutions already ahead of time. It is not effective to go to your decision makers to say, we have these problems, what can you do? But it's very important in terms of being effective. It's important to be able to present the solutions and the things that you want them to do. And that helps a lot in terms of them taking action. And once you present the solution or you inform them about what they could do to solve the problem, then call them to action. Really ask them, tell them, what do you want them to do? You have engaged them, you have told them what the problem is, you have gone further and stated or informed them about possible solutions. Now call them to action, commit them. Mr. A member of parliament, will you do A, B, C, D to protect TB patients in our country? Or will you do A, B, C, D to include social protection in TB programs? Will you do XYZ to increase the level of domestic funding for TB in our national response? Be very specific. What do you want them to do? And then on to our last slide. These are just examples of the laser talk, which you can take a look at, how you engage your audience, present your problem, inform about the solution, and call to action. And pretty much you can follow this for any issue. The issue I have here is about developing new diagnostics for TB that are accurate, affordable, and low tech. And you can go through this in terms of how you engage your audience, how you present the problem, and how you inform the solution and call to action. So I hope that we can all be stronger and more powerful in how we engage, and that the laser talk, whose format is epic, can be useful in our advocacy. I thank you very much.
So a big thank you to each of our panelists who were all shared their insights there. I think it was a really interesting series of presentations. I think I just wanted to really straight away encourage everyone who's listening in and online to share some questions in the Q&A or even in the chat. And all of the panelists are here live with you, and we'll be able to hopefully share some further information around those areas of particular interest or clarification as well. I think one of the questions that I note came up is in the Q&A was about where can people find access to the course. And so I just wonder if Jennifer or Timur would like to just share a little bit more information about that.
So we're getting ready to put the course online shortly. So we'll be providing at the end of this session links to and information on how to contact us directly or to fill out a very, very short pre-registration form, just a quick form with your name and email address so we can get in touch with you when it's ready and launched.
No, thanks so much, Jennifer. And I guess as well, just to kind of think about this discussion in a broader context, and a bit of a question for Timur, and I guess also Rosemary and other panelists as well. Feel free to join in. When at the heart of this course and online research and the community participation is the element of demand generation. and access to new tools, TB vaccines, all things that we see that are going to be really critical elements in the UN high-level meeting next year, things that are captured really comprehensively in the global plan to end TB. And we know that without the voice of community being capacitated, being engaged, and really owning this agenda, the change that we want to see will be very difficult to achieve. So I'm really interested, Timur, like your reflections around why this is important and some of the next steps that you think need to be put in place to ensure that the sort of lessons that are part of this curriculum can really empower partners, whether through advocacy plans, but also beyond that, to affect the change that you want to see. So over to you, Timur, and then after Timur, Rosemary, it would be great to hear from you, but Kate as well, and any of the panelists.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, you know, you don't ask, you don't get. That's as simple as that. And that's maybe one of the reasons why so far we haven't been doing really well in terms of new tools. So that's exactly the reason. The purpose of the course is to educate people affected by TB. By giving the knowledge, people, you know, when they have the knowledge, they start realizing, oh gosh, actually there is more than what we're getting, you know, and what we're getting is not necessarily the best that can be available. So that's how the change starts. You don't push for a change. Will it happen is a big question. Maybe it will happen, but not in the near future. So to me, demanding, asking for new tools, for the innovation, for accessibility of these new tools, and that's another weak point. Some of the new tools that we have, they're not new anymore, but they're still not universally available. So, you know, but the best thing we can do is just demand from donors, demand from technical partners, demand from all stakeholders to just basically call for new tools and call for their rollout so that it happens fast. We don't have a lot of time. We have till 2030, and we don't want excuses why we failed. So that means we really have to be pushing hard. And my understanding is that also the vocal community, it may be causing some allergies. You know, not everybody loves loud communities, you know, those troublemakers. But the thing is, actually, a lot of people need communities to demand because they cannot. And I'm thinking about my friends and colleagues in the research community, in the researcher community. With us pushing for resources for the research, they will have more opportunities to actually give something, to deliver, to develop new tools. With no resources, their hands are tied, and we cannot expect magic silver bullets with no resources. Like, we're not in some fairy tale. It's not that kind of universe we're living in. So yeah, we need to push. This course is giving us the knowledge of what to push for and how to push for it. So to me, that's really an important key to our success on the journey to ending TB by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Rosemary, did you want to add?
Yes, James, if you can hear me, I think just building on to Timur's point to say that in terms of demand, for most of countries in implementing world, say, for example, in our region, we know already we are operating our national TB programs with about a 40% deficit in terms of financing. And so the biggest question as a minister of health would be to say, should I invest in actual services? Should I invest in commodities, or should I invest in TB research? And this is going to demand to say we need to make a better case and argument in terms of what is the value of TB research. You know, I think, like, just highlighting, for example, 1 in 3 people around the world who, with TB, actually are not diagnosed. They don't know they have TB. So how do we make a case that we actually have to be better at diagnosing, so we can be better at putting and placing treatment and referrals and all that?
So demand, 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 make the case for TB research and how it connects to reaching the last mile, how it connects to everything else, including, I think, universal access to TB services makes a lot of sense. And I think because of the long time horizon of research and development, when people think about TB tools, they're thinking, oh, that's like 3 years down the line trying to find something. But we need to make the argument of why it's important to invest now in those processes, because it takes us closer to actually having everybody access these services equitably.
Thanks so much, Rosemary. And just before we go to Kate and also like to Carolyn and Jennifer, there's just one more question that's come up for you, Rosemary, about where people can access the laser talk sort of tool. Can you just share a little bit on that?
Yeah, so within this course, the laser talk is one of them. It's either like a chapter is part of that. And I'm not very sure whether participants are able to also access the presentations made here at Community Connect, because the example of how you could use a laser talk to advocate for the development of new tools is also there. And if that's not possible, James, then we can also share the links with Stop TB Partnership. But I'm definitely sure the course has a segment of this particular tool.
Thanks, Rosemary and Carolyn. I don't know if you wanted to take that opportunity to share some thoughts on the first questions, but also to complement Rosemary's points just there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really just wanted to add in that you can also go to the Results Educational Fund site about laser talks. So that's just, if you look up results.org laser talk, there's a lot of examples there too, while we're waiting to get this course fully online for you to be able to access. And yeah, just wanted to reiterate how excited we are to be able to welcome people from all over the world who speak English to take this course and become better advocates. We really wanted to try to make it as accessible as possible for people to make the demands that they most care about. You know, you don't necessarily have to do every module. You could dive in the specific places where you really want to make a difference.
Oh, thank you so much, Karen. I think that's really helpful, and there's I see a lot of positive feedback coming in through the chat as well. So hopefully this is a tool that can be really picked up and taken forward. Just before going to Jennifer, Timur, there's a question that's come in a little bit specifically around TB vaccines, and I know in the context of Stop TB Community Delegation and the TB Vaccine Forum, some statements were really put out around this and the calls for community around TB vaccines. And I wanted to give you and also Kate the opportunity just to comment a little bit around this and why this is important and some of the advocacy priorities that are there.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will be actually very brief. Vaccines would be the way to end TB once and for good. Even though COVID created some trouble by fueling the anti-vaxxers movement, and we will need to figure out how to deal with that when we have the vaccine, so that we don't get this pushback and resistance. My thinking is that communication is key. We will need to be really good at communicating what that vaccine is, what's it's like, basically, you know, educate everyone about what this vaccine is, so that we don't end up having even some renowned people like Nobel laureates pushing for some really wrong messages, like it was with COVID vaccines. So in my opinion, like, yeah, once we have a vaccine, TB bye-bye, like forever, like gone. And of course, that's the number one thing we will need to be pushing for. We can improve diagnostics, we can improve treatment, we can improve prevention, treatment as prevention, TBT. And we do have some really good progress there, but vaccine, we need a vaccine, we definitely need a vaccine. And also, if you allow, there was a question about keeping the course up to date. So I really hope that very soon the course will be outdated, as we are going to have a vaccine. And there will be some huge progress, and we will need to actually talk to our partners, like Stop TB Partnership, maybe the Global Fund, maybe somebody else, and say like, hey guys, time to update this course. It has to be a living one. It has to keep up the pace of the innovation. And we need to find a way how to at least add some updates, maybe every now and then, to every module, so that new learners will get this up-to-date information, and maybe the returning ones will take those bonus lectures. But at the same time, we also need to think about how to translate it into other languages, because a lot of people in the world speak English, but not everyone. So yeah, we do have a lot of work in front of us. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you so much, Timur. A lot of key points there about education, about the vaccine priority, and also, the continued engagement to take this forward and help it to be operational. So, Kate, did you want to take an opportunity to share some reflections here as well? And then I guess, Jennifer, I know that you had some particular points that you wanted to end to sort of close on. So after Kate, we can sort of head in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, my big one of the things I'm so excited about with this is just because I do think that kind of having that, I guess you would say, literacy, like that research literacy about new tools, is like just so important. I feel like a lot of times I've seen like great webinars and great things to let people know about new innovations in TB that we're all working so hard for. But either they're during the day when people are working, or just being able to watch this at your own time, in your own convenience, and that's being put forward in pretty simple language, I think is so wonderful. And I'm really excited about this tool. So I really would encourage everybody watching, to check it out. I would really encourage everyone to, because if people really use it, there's even more of an argument to keep updating it, to add languages. Really, if we want this thing to be a living document, we need to have people constantly using it. So I really like anybody who's watching, please make sure you check this out. Please make sure you engage with it. There will be ways for you to provide input so we can make it better. And it's really an exciting thing for me. I'm really grateful for it. And I think, Jennifer, you have like some ways that people can engage with it that you might want to let people know about.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I wanted to say. I think you all done a great job covering what we'd wanted to do with this course, the importance of advocates and communities being literate in TB research. One of the things we tried with this course in terms of keeping things up to date is to really use it as an opportunity to orient participants to where they can get additional resources. So when there are new funding numbers available, or if there are new research findings, where they can find that information. So hopefully the course won't be outdated too soon, because we're constantly pointing you to where you'll get the most up-to-date information. So it's not just, you're not just learning what we present in the course, but also being shown where you can find information, where you can stay updated. And of course, connecting with the working groups and with the delegations is a great way to do that. As I mentioned, I'm going to try to share my screen here. We do have ways for you to do that. I'm just going to do a quick, let me do, show. All right. Not sure how well this is going to work. So you should, now I'm going to try to do this.
There it is. It's working.
Great. So this is just, and hopefully you'll be able to see this and come back to it on demand, ways that you can connect with us as the working groups through various channels, and also the NGO delegations. So we have websites, we have email addresses, Twitter feeds, LinkedIn pages. And then there's a QR code here. And sorry, the link is not actually here anymore, but there's a QR code that you can add to do the quick pre-registration. Again, it's your name, I think, email address, and country. That just lets us know you're interested. And then when the session is available, or the curriculum is available, we can get in touch with you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. I hope we all take some leads from Kate, who I can see is
Just
taking
did it.
photos
It's really
of the
easy.
QRs.
It's great. It works. Look at that. So I hope everybody watching.
I hope it's
doing
working.
this too. Yeah, it's working great. I got the form right here, like a charm. You know, really great.
No, so I think that's really, really helpful, Jennifer. And I guess just thinking a little bit over the course of the next, 9 to 12 months, we're going to have a UN high-level meeting on TB. We need there to be ambition of the highest order to be there, political ambition. We need heads of state attending and engaging. And as part of that engagement, we need them demanding the fact that they need access to the newest tools. For them to do that, we need communities and civil society and all stakeholders sort of empowered and united around this call for new tools and an effective TB vaccine as soon as possible. This very much it aligns with the public health response, but it's also a human rights issue. It's people's right to have access to health. And this is something that's critically needed if we're to end TB and to save millions of lives each year who currently are dying from something that's curable, something that's treatable, and in many instances is preventable as well. So I think that it's a really useful tool that's coming out. And I know that we're currently at time to conclude, but I just wanted to, before wrapping up, if there is any final remarks from any of the wonderful speakers and my incredible co-moderator for today, I just want to give you that opportunity before we wrap up. If something, jump in. But if nothing, I wanted to thank all of the participants for joining with us today. And we hope that those who couldn't join live can maybe share this with their networks, encourage them to take part and pick up the recorded version of this, but also to share the QR code to continue to get engaged so that country partners can really make use of what's going to be a really useful tool to build that capacity, build that engagement, shape the advocacy to build demand and get the new tools that we need to end TB. So a big thank you to Jennifer, to Rosemary, to Carolyn, to Kate, to Timur, and everyone who joined, for the union for hosting and our tech support. And I'm sure we'll continue this important discussion going forward.
Thank you all so much for this tool and for your time today.
Thanks.